Good morning and happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, what we typically do is go over crypto news or news in general in the space. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's in the house and we'll get into this. Mr. All Set, what's up, dude? Good to see you. We got Not James, 10 minutes to midnight. Mike R, good morning, sir. Rurales, good to see you, buddy. We have Carl Coat, Tug Life, I love that name. Daddy Chill, Nate G said whoever is market selling 1 million Caspa on Mex C F you. Every hour someone's doing that. Every hour, that's crazy. Well, you know what, good, more for us. I'm actually gonna buy back in lower, so I'm excited about that. Let's see, Matt Electron, what's up, dude? Savage White, Patrick Murphy, what's going on? Steven Cicero, everybody else I may have missed, I apologize. Let's get into it. Bitcoin hit an all-time high yesterday of like 93,477. It's crazy. Bitcoin right now is at $91,648. We got Ethereum at 3,187 bucks. Solana $217. Everything looks crazy green today. Looks nice, looks nice. ADA at 56 cents, up 5% on the day. XRP showed up to the party, 71 cents, almost 72, up 7% today. Litecoin, what's up, little buddy? Look at this thing. Better late than never. $80. Nice. The Duke into Litecoin. Perfect. Up almost, it's going towards 10%. Nice. We have ETC over here at $22.28. Caspa is at 12.5 cents. This is, yeah, I mean, listen, I think we're going to go down a little bit more on Caspa. So strap in for the ride, my opinion. But, yeah, I'm going to buy in when it's lower. Dogecoin, 39 cents. Is it too late to buy Doge? Department of Government Efficiency is actually a thing. It's going to be here to stay for the next 4 years, as far as I know. So this is going to be very, very interesting. I don't think it's too late, but we're gonna watch a video later today from Lark Davis to see what he says about it. WIF is up 32% to $4. Oh my god, jeez. Render $7 over here, up like 1% on the day. BitTensor down a little bit today, 5% to 517 bucks. Not too bad. Pepe is pumping today. Holy shit, Pepe pumped 60%. Oh my god, moonshot, look at that. That's crazy. 59%. The Duke in for Pepe, if anybody's holding that. I am not. I sold out of it. All right, crypto bubbles, look at this. Peanut is still up 35.5% today. Damn, that's wild. It was up like 200 and something percent yesterday. Pepe is the biggest earner of the day though at 59.3. Looks pretty good. Dog with Hat 31.4% up on the day. We got Mog up 38.3%. Nice. Looks like all the meme coins are really taking a nice pump today. Crazy. Jasmy's up 12.8%, 2 cents. Nice. Nothing really jumping out at me besides all the meme coins. We got Goat over here. Goatius Maximus. Oh, that's great. Let's see. Exactly a year ago, Bitcoin was $36,467 as seen on the Daily Grind. Really? Wow. Wow. See, that's why I like doing these shows. Thank you, Patrick Murphy. That's awesome. That's crazy. I think it was $36,000. All right, Flashbang Fear and Greed Index. We're looking like an 88. Bruh. This is getting high. This is getting high on this chart really fast. Right? I personally think we're going to see a pullback around the Black Friday area. Thanksgiving-ish. Usually between then, like that week, we usually get hit pretty decent. So that's just my opinion. I think we're gonna see a sell-off, people buying shit, traveling for the holidays, and then Christmas rally shows up and goes nuts. You guys know over 75, I worry about this thing. Be fearful when people are greedy, and greedy when people are fearful. You guys know the saying. All right, let's do it. Bitcoin over here. Look at this market cap today. Top 10 coins, buy coin market cap over on CoinGecko, starting with Bitcoin at a $1.811 trillion Bitcoin. We got Ethereum, Tether, Solana, BNB, Dogecoin, XRP, USDC, Lido Staked Ether, and Cardano in 10th place at a $20 billion market cap. God damn. Perfect. I can't believe Bitcoin's at a 1.8. That's awesome. 1.8 trillion. God damn. Dogecoin's at a $58 billion market cap. Could you... Dogecoin literally doubled its market cap in like a couple weeks, not even like a week. It's insane how much money came into Dogecoin. That is nuts. Shiba is in 12th place at a 14.9 billion. I still have some of that over on Coinbase. Yeah, that's pretty much all I care about. Litecoin, I guess, $6 billion market cap. We get Near Protocol 6.3 billion. Where's Casper? Let's see where it's at today. $3.1 billion market cap. Over here, 12.5 cents. Casper will be just fine. Don't worry about Casper. People selling it is what it is. People are gonna get weak hands. That's what happens, man. It happens to every market. So if anybody's worried about selling off, don't worry about it. It's time to buy when people sell. That's it. All right, let me refresh this. Let's see. You guys know. Moving on to the mining segment of things. I like to timestamp this stuff. We got the Antminer L9 in first place, 17 gigahash unit, making $53.31 a day at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. After you pay your electric bill, that is what you will be taking home. If anybody doesn't know anything about the site, that's how this works. You can change the electric rate up here. The L9 16 gigahash unit over here, making $50.18 a day. The DG1 Plus 14 gigahash unit making $41.55. The 11 gigahash unit DG1 is making $31.83. Damn. The L7, you guys know I got my 9050 down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them if you're interested in hosting. Link is in the description. My 9050 3-year-old plus L7 is making almost $25 a day, $24.72 to be exact. That's insane. Perfect. It's so crazy to see that thing making $25 a day. I'm extremely happy about it. All right, let's see. AL3 from Ice River, 15 terahash unit over here, making $16.39 a day. Damn. What is the Gold Shell DG Max? What is that? The DG Max, 6.5 gigahash unit, 3400 watts. This thing's making $15.50 a day. I don't know what this is. New ASIC? They just come out with this? Does anybody know? I'm assuming. I don't remember seeing the DG Max. $22.96 price. Huh. Interesting. The Gold Shell E DG1M, I just got confirmation I'll be getting one of these to review, so this is pretty sweet. 3.4 gigahashes over here, 1800 watts. This thing makes $8 a day, $8.06. I'll be running it on solar though. It's gonna be a big draw on solar, but I gotta get those other panels hooked up on my shed. I gotta finish that third video for you guys, by the way. Man, I lost some footage too. I'm kind of upset about it. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna have to figure out how to piece it all together. But the shed is pretty much done. Let's see what else. Just gonna scroll down a little bit. I got, what did I get yesterday? The KS2 light. The AL2 light is making $2.11 a day. How's the lithium looking? Let's check out the lithium quick. Oh, let me do that. Let's see, lithium down another 5% today. Damn, $1.12. Bruh. The hell's going on, lithium? Pick your shit up off the ground, please. All right, Doge, mini Doge 2. Where's the 3? Mini Doge 3, 650 gigahashes, 400 watts. That's not the one I got. I got the plus. 3 plus, 810 megahashes. That thing's making $1.75 a day. Where's the Casper miner though? The one I just made a video on yesterday. This thing, 2 terahashes, 500 watts, losing 6 cents a day. That's such a shame. Such a shame that that thing is losing that much money a day. Crazy. I'm running it for free on the solar trailer, but still, it's like, it sucks. It's not worth buying. I wouldn't buy any of these units, to be honest. Don't buy any of the new Casper or any Casper miners. Don't buy them. Just buy the coin, please, because then you guys can always you know, if you believe in the project, you're hoping it's going to go up anyway. So it's like you're not fighting to pay back a machine that you don't need to try to pay back, you know. And the new ones will come out as soon as you buy that. So that's how that usually goes. That DG Home 1 miner Panda ramped up yesterday. Looks like it's right up your alley. I didn't watch Panda's video yesterday. I saw he went live like 10 minutes after he went live, and I didn't watch it. I don't watch live streams after. It's too long personally, but I'll check it out. Aleo seems to be chopping the charts to GPUs. Ergo on the 170HX. Ergo, haven't heard that name in a minute. Ergo 9% today, $1.24. Is that good? I haven't looked at Ergo in forever. I guess that is good. Rising over the year. The year chart's picking up. Looks like ass from over here, the max. But wait, hold on. That clearly didn't go to the year chart last time. Oh, the 3-month chart looks good. The year chart looks like ass. All right, well, that's that for Ergo. I don't know what's going on with Ergo. I heard they had some stuff going on, some forks and stuff, but just like everything else, it's in a shitty predicament, I guess. 7900 XT, Bitcoin Gold, and Xano. Looks like that's on the AMD cards. Aleo seems to be top of the charts, though. Conflux and Pyron. I'm shocked Pyron's still around. That project was rugged by the devs. They stopped caring about it and just kind of disappeared. But Ergo and Pyron on a 3070. Interesting. So you guys got a few things to choose from today. Mine and sell. Don't hold any of these coins, my opinion. You guys do what you want. All right, you guys know I showed this yesterday. This is the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, announcement from Donald Trump. That's over on Elon Musk's page. If you guys are interested, link is in the description for that. But we're gonna listen to a little bit of news on this stuff, and then we'll go from there. Let's do it, guys. That like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's get into it.
Dogecoin is surging, as you might know, following the president-elect's victory, getting an extra boost following some headlines around Elon Musk. Mackenzie Sagalos is breaking that all down this morning. Hey, Mackenzie.
Hey, Carl. So we saw Dogecoin surge as much as 20% on Tuesday night, right after Donald Trump formally announced the Department of Government Efficiency, which he called Doge, in a hat tip to the dog-themed meme coin. Now, Trump and Musk, who have been spending a lot of time together down in Mar-a-Lago, have been posting about this new government department for weeks, which is part of why this meme coin has been crypto's big outperformer, up more than 150% since Election Day. The Tesla CEO was really the one who put this token on the map back in 2021. He tweeted about it, called himself the Doge Father, and it's the only cryptocurrency that Tesla accepts on its website. Now, in terms of what this means for the wider crypto market rally, Bank of America analysts say that indices tracking the 20 largest and 50 smallest liquid tokens are both up more than 31% since Trump was elected. But unlike the bull runs that we had in 2017 and 2021, analysts expect this surge to fade for 99% of tokens in circulation. Instead, it's those cash-generating tokens like Ether and Solana that actually power networks, which will ultimately outperform meme tokens. Bitcoin, meanwhile, topping $91,000 for the first time.
Hold on. They slowly underestimate these coins then, or sadly underestimate these coins then, because Dogecoin has been in the top 10 for like years.
Ever as investors start to price in tailwinds for the industry, like the fact that we have an incoming president in Congress poised to make it easier for banks to both invest in digital assets and work with crypto companies, an effort that regulators have stymied for years, Carl.
Anyways, yeah, so Dogecoin, it's actually really fast when you go to send it, and it's really cheap when you go to send it. So there's nothing wrong with Dogecoin as a meme. It's actually a good coin. It's got good fundamentals behind it. Gold inverse response to the dollar and inflation is causing a pullback. Let's see what they got to say. CNBC television. Let's do it.
Meantime, the dollar just keeps on rising, and right now it's at its highest level since April 16th. 106 on the dollar index. Let's talk to Tim Seymour about this. He's CIO of Seymour Asset Management and a CNBC contributor. And Tim, what's interesting is that we've still had this is a headwind for certain commodities, but a headwind for gold, right? I mean, talk to us about the levels and their significance here.
Well, the move in gold is certainly disappointing to gold bulls, of which I am one, except for I'm not so sure that the reasons we wanted to own gold before the elections aren't still there, maybe even more so. I think gold's inverse kind of response to both the dollar, but also inflation dynamics is something that I think has clearly given it a pullback. Remember, gold outperformed the S&P from October of 22 to October of 24 in the best bull market, arguably, of all time. So gold's had a tremendous run. Doesn't surprise to see me pull back. The dollar strength has certainly put a hurting across the entire commodity complex. We've been talking about oil. You've been talking about oil. The world's been talking about it, to what extent it's an impact on the other parts of the growth trade. A lot of the dollar move to me is a combination. The last 6%, which is almost a straight line since October 1, is a correlation to interest rates. And I do mean long rates.
It's also interesting that Bitcoin is doing as well as it is right now, given that it should be a headwind like it is for some of the other commodities. So do you think this rise is sustainable? If you go back to after Trump's election the first time around, we saw a similar kind of run up in the dollar, which then traded sideways to flattish for the rest of his term until COVID. Is this an echo of that for you?
I think the dollar can stay strong, and I think part of the dynamic, at least of the rhetoric so far, both on tariffs and some of the global policy, but certainly fiscal policy in the U.S., is that there are a number of other central banks around the world probably not saying this, but thinking, hey, we have the ability to weaken our currency and really offset a lot of that tariff dynamic. Again, exactly. A competitive deval is something we've seen in the past. In terms of just the dynamics of the U.S. economy, part of the dollar's move is this, and this is a Fed that suddenly in December, it's 50-50 suddenly that they're actually even going to cut. So I actually think this is about central bank differentials. I think the dollar can stay strong. And look at the BOJ a couple days earlier in the week as we hit 155 today on dollar yen.
Wow.
It's a long way from that fateful August 5th day when BOJ made some noise. It was 141 on the yen. The world was crumbling seemingly. I think BOJ is going to be very cautious about getting tighter here.
So would this be a great global development? I mean, it sounds like it's maybe rebalancing in advance some of what's going to happen, maybe taking the sting out of tariffs, even to some extent. Maybe we import less inflation, a little more deflation. Sometimes people say those strong dollars a headwind for stocks more broadly. I don't know. I'm just looking to see if you think this is kind of like a healthy move higher or not.
I think we've seen tremendous rotation, and I think we're going to continue to see that. I think it's fantastic for banks. I think it's been very strong. Again, it's about a yield curve now that's also as steep as we've seen it for a long time. So I think typically a strong dollar sometimes has been a risk-off moment, but I think in the face of a stronger U.S. economy and what are differentials to the rest of the world, I think it's okay. I think I manage an international ETF, IDEVO, and this is something where we've seen some of the international names, international banks like Barclays or Mitsubishi Bank or Sumitomo have rallied strongly with U.S. money center banks since the election. So there are places where I think you can invest and actually do well here. Right. But I think investors are recognizing that certain parts of the inverse dollar trade, commodities, you look at resources. I mean, Freeport Mac, which is a name I'm long, and it's really had a tough run, even though everything we're saying is certainly commodity positive in terms of fun.
I forgot to do the mystery chart, Tim. It was Zoom video, a meme stock with a real story. Come back. We'll dive.
All right. No. What was that music? That music was awful. All right. SoftBank to get first Blackwell chip from NVIDIA. Let's see.
Sure. Tech giants and AI startups are all hungrily awaiting NVIDIA's new Blackwell chip. We found out overnight that Japanese tech firm SoftBank will be the first to get their hands on them. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang announcing that at an AI summit in Japan. Let's turn to Deirdre Bosa for what brings us to this point in that relationship for today's Tech Check. Deirdre?
Who else but Masa-san, Kelly? Everything about this announcement was very on brand for Masayoshi-san, basically telling the world that he and SoftBank are going to be key players in the Gen AI shift, or at least make a very big run for it. For NVIDIA, though, it does raise a question. If demand for Blackwell is insane, as Jensen Huang has said, then why put Masa-san at the front of the line instead of an OpenAI or Google or a company at the forefront of LLM advancements? A source tells me that it was simple. SoftBank's order was early and it was big. It also comes just as the debate is heating up over whether AI advancements have peaked. That's a big deal with SoftBank. Could also let Huang and NVIDIA diversify away from its large U.S. customers to new opportunities in sovereigns like Japan. Now, overnight in Tokyo, Huang praised Masa-san as the only entrepreneur and innovator in the world that has selected or partnered with the tech winner in every generation, from Bill Gates to Jerry Yang to Jack Ma. He was even the largest shareholder of NVIDIA at one point, leading to this moment.
Many of you probably don't know this, but at one point, Masa was the largest shareholder of NVIDIA. Yes. Oh. It's okay. We can cry together.
Something tells me Jensen Huang is not crying, Kelly, but had Masa-san held on to that stake in NVIDIA, it was a 4.9% stake, it would be worth nearly $180 billion today. Instead, he sold it for less than $4 billion. So tears indeed.
You know, and to see him, to some extent laughing it off. I mean, there are people who are, they sold.
That sucks. That's horrible. That's like the guy spending 10,000 Bitcoin on a pizza.
Well, their Dogecoin and could have made, and think about 180 billion basically left on the table. Just incredible.
It's a wild number. And you know what helps explain why he's going big here. He's not going to miss another opportunity, and that is just very Masa-san style. He almost went bankrupt during the .com era, but he had Alibaba.
This is probably not a 10-second question, but what is the Blackwell chip going to allow him to do exactly?
So Blackwell is seen as the most powerful AI chip coming to market, and SoftBank and Japan are at a different point than the OpenAIs, the Google Geminis of the world. They're still in that pre-training phase. They're still building up and training their large language models, whereas these questions over AI advancements for the big LLMs here from OpenAI and Google and Anthropic, if progress is really slowing down, there is this question of, do they need even more GPUs at the same rate that they've been buying them? So different phases, and some folks here say that the companies here, the LLMs here, are more in the inference, the post-training phase versus pre-training, where SoftBank and Masa-san may be.
Interesting. Deirdre.
Yeah, good point. He still made $2 billion, so is what it is. All right, let's see. What's this? Trump admin will quickly reduce red tape in energy production. See what they got to say over here.
So what could the energy agenda look like under President-elect Trump's new administration? Our next guest says while there are some pros, there could be some cons as well for the oil and gas market. Joining us now is Bill Perkins, President and CEO at Skylar Capital Management. Bill, you just heard Pippa's report about this kind of balancing act that we're seeing between green energy and traditional hydrocarbon energy. The presumption is that it's just all oil and gas, drill, baby, drill, and that's basically it. But it's much more nuanced than that.
Yeah, I think this incoming administration is pro-energy of all kinds, whether it's nuclear, renewable, natural gas. And so any type of energy delay or delaying the United States from producing any type of energy, they're looking to remove those delays, those bottlenecks, and those frustration points. And so we should see that happening very quickly. I think the first time this administration came in, it took a while for them to get their feet wet, to understand how things work. They now understand these frustration points, and they're looking to come in, hitting the ground running.
The markets have already made at least a near-term verdict, right, Bill, on this? We've seen clean energy companies like solar companies see their stocks relatively lower, and in many cases absolutely lower compared to oil and gas stocks. How exactly do investors navigate this kind of environment? Are there relative value trades, and how exactly do you position portfolios to allocate to all different kinds of energy?
Well, let's go by sector. So these companies, I think people are worried about the incentives, the Inflation Reduction Act, those type of things going away. I don't think that'll be the first thing. I think the first thing will be positive for them. Whether you produce solar panels or transformers or any kind of renewable product, you have to get a permit. And the biggest issue we have in the United States of America is the permitting times are too long. There's a wing within the EPA and within the government that is basically a anti-development of any kind of energy source, and that is hurting along the value chain in renewable energy. So I think they're going to actually benefit to begin. And there is some odds that the IRA gets reduced or something happens with that. But I think the main bottleneck for energy production in the United States of America is the weaponization of the permitting system. For crude oil, on the other side, I think the current administration has kind of turned a blind eye to some of the sanctions violations. They're not really big on enforcement. We're big on handing out naughty boy slips. And we know where these sanction violators are going, who they're meeting up with, et cetera. And so the enforcement has been a little lax. And I think this new administration is going to take a much tougher stance on enforcement.
Bill, I want to ask you, the administration has Trump has reportedly considered an energy czar who would kind of go and unwind a lot of the Biden kind of climate rules. At the same time, some of the business leaders, I believe it was Exxon, was maybe trying to communicate to the president, say, look, if every 4 years we go totally in one direction and then totally in another and then totally back and forth and totally, it's hard to get to be able to invest in projects with clarity in the long term. And obviously, if we want low energy prices, we need to know, and have people put capital to work over, 10, 20-year period of time. Do you think there's some truth to that we're seeing too much volatility, or do we need to turn a page from what took place during the last 4 years?
Yeah, I think, everybody wants clean air and clean water. And I think the people coming in have kids and families, et cetera. What they're trying to get rid of, the obstructionist attitude, the inability to use electronic communications using snail mail, the deliberate attempts to slow down reasonable permitting. I think that's the part where they're going to come in and rip things up and roll things back. As far as like on the legislation side, on the EPA rules and Clean Air Act, I agree with the CEO. You want stability. Stability breeds investment. And we want the rules to be followed. We don't want obstructionist wings within the government, even though you have the cleanest renewable plant, but they are slowing you down with permitting times that basically destroys your ability to bring this facility on, whether it be solar or wind or hydro or geothermal. And so I think there is a balance that needs to happen and some stability that needs to happen. But currently, the incoming administration is set on blowing up anything that is obstructionist or weaponized.
All right. And permitting sounds like it could be one of those first avenues to explore. Bill, for now, thanks. We appreciate it. Bill Perkins.
All right. Moving on. Let's see. What do we got over here? Fed has room to continue to cut as monetary policy is still restrictive. Let's see.
Start with markets and the latest read on inflation. CPI for October, the headline increasing 0.2% in line with estimates. The core was a little hotter. Here to break down what it all means, Brian Jacobson. He's chief economist at Annex Wealth Management. I'm in the sticky camp on this one, Brian, but the markets are pricing in higher odds of a rate cut in December now. Higher odds even in Jan and March, although they seem to now think we'll be going every other meeting.
Yeah, it does seem like that. When we were talking about it on our investment committee here, we were really looking at the numbers, and I think we agree with you that it is going to be higher for a longer period of time, but that still gives the Fed room to continue to cut, because if you look at real interest rates, which is what the Fed is mostly concerned about, even at around, say, 4.5% or even 4%, that is still at a faster run rate than overall inflation. So even if we peter out here at 2.5% inflation year over year, they could really cut rates down to 3.5%, and then we'd be at a neutral stance. So monetary policy is still restrictive. It's almost as though the Fed, they're just slowly taking their foot off of the brake with the rate cuts. They're not pushing on the accelerator yet.
So if rates are restrictive, so restrictive was 2022. The Fed raises rates after that massive inflation. The markets take a nosedive. I mean, that feels like restrictive policy. Now we have stocks at all-time highs. What does that tell you?
Yeah, that's a really good point. We do see the equity markets at new highs. You also see credit spreads very, very narrow. It doesn't really feel like financial conditions are restrictive. It seems like financial conditions are actually pretty easy, but it's pretty easy for those who can get it. If you are actually, some of the smaller businesses, households, the cost of credit is still very high. The Senior Loan Officer Opinion Survey really shows that banks have heightened their credit standards, and there's not a huge demand for borrowing. So, financial conditions are easy if you want to borrow at these levels. It's just that a lot of households and smaller businesses aren't showing that they have a lot of appetite for borrowing at these rates.
Brian, it's Dom. Credit risk is not really out there. At least that's not what the government bond / corporate bond / high yield markets are telling us right now. We also have liquidity conditions that are, as you point out, relatively easy. Okay. Is there anything that can derail the upward momentum of this market? It seems like there's just nothing that can take this thing down.
Yeah, it does feel like there's quite a bit of momentum here, as you were talking about at the beginning, and that's the thing with momentum. It tends to beget more momentum, but you can get trips along the way, and I do think that we are going to see that, and especially as we get into the new year. You're probably going to see some of the economic data, especially let's think about like GDP numbers. If we look at trade data, if people are anticipating that we're going to be seeing higher tariffs, they're probably going to be accelerating imports, and imports, just through the mathematics of GDP calculations, is a negative on GDP. People might be thinking, well, are we building up too much inventory, making too much of a bet on these tariffs? So some of these distortions, I think, are going to really put some worries at the forefront of investors' minds. Right now, there's a lot of that optimism. And at what point are we going to tip towards people thinking about, well, what are the side effects of some of these policies that could be coming down the pipeline?
Can you leave us, Brian, with some kind of actionable advice, given where we are with valuations, with multiples, big argument over small caps, anything kind of tactically that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest themes I would really highlight is the idea of bigger deal flow and merger and acquisition activity. A high multiple company purchasing a lower multiple company is a good thing if you're in that lower multiple company, and those are oftentimes the smaller companies within that space. If we're entering into a period where you're going to have a more accommodating Department of Justice and Federal Trade Commission for some of this deal activity, that could really redound to the benefit of small and mid-cap companies. So I think there's a valuation argument for small and mid-cap, a cyclical argument, and then also perhaps an acquisition argument for a lot of these firms.
All right. And we've been talking about stocks like Apollo, like Goldman, the investment banks, which really reflect that optimism. But I like your point about multiples more broadly as well. Brian, thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Brian.
All right, let's see. Moving on. Vivek over here going to be talking about the DOGE with Mr. Elon Musk.
All right, President-elect Trump continues to make key appointments for his next administration. Now, yesterday he announced that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk would lead the new Department of Government Efficiency. Earlier today, Vivek took to Twitter saying in part, quote, "If we're ever going to crush the bureaucracy, it's going to happen from the outside. Just the hard truth." And today, the department's X account was launched with a tweet saying, quote, "Working overtime to ensure that your tax dollars will be spent wisely." Vivek Ramaswamy joins us now. All right, so you're partnering with the smartest guy in the country. There's no doubt about it. And the richest guy. But you look at Elon Musk, and he's a genius. If you can figure out a way to go save those astronauts that are lost in space, God bless you. I could never figure that out in 500 lifetimes. So I admire that. He's talking about $2 billion in cuts by identifying waste, fraud, and abuse. Is that a realistic number? That's a big number.
Yeah, $2 billion isn't a big number, but $2 trillion is, Sean. And that's what we're looking at here. Look,
$2 trillion. I stand corrected.
No, I want to be very clear about the scale. I want to be very clear about the scale that we're thinking here. We're not thinking small. We're playing big here because we have a once-in-a-generation mandate right now. The American people have voted for drastic reform of the government, and our federal government is broken. It's no secret that it is a fourth branch of government, the administrative state that makes most of the rules, that creates a federal bureaucracy that's hampering our economy. So what do we want to do? We want to go in and slash and burn that bureaucracy to help Americans, stimulate the economy, and to restore self-governance again, Sean. The people we elect to run the government, they're not even the ones who run the government anymore. It's these unelected bureaucrats. Republican politicians have talked about fixing this for a long time, not with a lot of progress. So I do think it's going to take a couple of outsiders. Elon and I have built a great friendship over the last year. We're working together intensely, and we're not going to stop till we get the job done.
When Ronald Reagan became president, on the issue of defense, he called it a gap of vulnerability. China, Russia, they have hypersonic missile technology. We do not. We're going to have to spend a lot of money on defense to catch up and to surpass our enemies. Social Security, Medicare are headed towards insolvency. We'll have to spend money there. To me, that money is going to be made up through energy dominance. That's where I think our greatest opportunity is. Your thoughts?
Look, part of what's holding back energy dominance in this country is that administrative state. Look at the regulations coming out of the Department of Interior, the slow permitting requirements, how hard it is to open a new refinery. So I think that is the root cause of our failure as a country, is this unelected fourth branch of government. And I think they look at elected officials as these cute little puppets that come and go every little while. Not anymore. There's a new sheriff in town. Donald Trump's the president. He has mandated us for radical, drastic reform of this federal bureaucracy with the learnings of that first term. And you look, Elon and I mean, Elon's solving major problems of physics. I came from the world of biology. What we're solving here now is not a natural problem. This is a man-made problem. And when you have a man-made problem, you better darn well have a man-made solution. That's what we're bringing to the table. We're assembling the brightest minds in the country. This is the equivalent of a modern Manhattan Project to take on, I think, the major problem holding our country back. It's the federal bureaucracy. Target that cost, save the money, restore self-governance. And Sean, I think we did something pretty novel here, if I may say so. If I just want to say is this Department of Government Efficiency, it is built with an end date. We want to be done by July 4th, 2026. So for the first time in history, creating a department, creating a new government project that is designed to end when its work is complete. That's on the 250th anniversary of America's Declaration of Independence. And that's the gift we want to give this country on that birthday.
Well, I hope Congress adopts your recommendations. They did not do so in the Reagan years with the Grace Commission. What are the first things you're going to look at?
Look, we got a long list, and a lot of this is to stay tuned for what's coming on January 20th, because some of this we do want to come as in a big way swinging on day one. But I'll give you some examples, Sean. Most federal employees right now, most Americans don't recognize this. They don't even show up to work. So if you tell people you have to affirm that you want a job, that you have to show up to work 5 days a week, how many of those employees are going to quit right out the gate? That's a question we should ask. Those are the kinds of inefficiencies, low-hanging fruit, that Democrats and Republicans or black or white Americans alike can agree on. We should not be wasting that kind of money as a federal government. And so in that sense, tackling this kind of waste, fraud, abuse, bureaucratic bloat, we're going for the stuff that's basic common sense that most Americans actually agree on. And I hope we're going to actually be able to help unite the country by eliminating waste, which is something that all Americans, regardless of partisan affiliation, can get behind. And that's how Elon and I are thinking about it.
I have less than a minute, but I think part of it has to be baseline budgeting, eliminate the built-in increases every year that we have for every department. I think getting rid of the Department of Education, giving that money directly to states, or maybe adopting something like the penny plan. Maybe it's the nickel plan, where you cut, a nickel out of every dollar every year for 5 years. You balance the budget, which has not been done since Newt Gingrich was the Speaker of the House. You have about 30 seconds.
Well, funny enough, Sean, actually much of our spending is even for programs whose authorization has lapsed. So the authorization to spend the money, the appropriation has lapsed, and yet still the money still goes out the door. That's how broken the bureaucracy is. So I think it's going to take a couple of business guys to come in, do this from the outside. We're going to have fun while we're at it. It's going to be the most transparent effort. We're certainly aiming to make this a transparent process so the American people can see how their money's being wasted. So we're all in it on the same team to fix it. I can't wait for Donald Trump to get back in that White House on January 20th. He's given us a broad mandate with his full support to get this done. I'm grateful to him for that. And Elon and I are pretty excited to get started. So we'll see for what we have a few surprises in store for January.
Yeah, did you hear that Donald Trump picked this guy to be his, the DOJ or something? Matt Gaetz. This, I saw this short yesterday. Let me grab it. This right here. This guy's awesome, by the way. His name's Benny Johnson.
Donald Trump has shocked the world.
Oh, it's quiet. Why is it so quiet?
Attorney General Matt Gaetz, a congressman from Florida, is the last person on earth that the D.C. swamp would want to be overseeing the most powerful office in the government, the top law enforcement official in the United States of America. Matt Gaetz is somebody who has been the victim of weaponized federal government prosecutions, just like Donald Trump, and that's probably why Trump trusts him. Trump also knows that Matt Gaetz doesn't tolerate woke bullshit like
thank God.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Oh yeah, the pick
He's so dry.
Thermonuclear in Washington D.C. mainly because Matt Gaetz is one of the #1 enemies of the deep state. He's somebody who's called the deep state out to their faces, like when he had these questions about Hunter Biden's laptop and entered the laptop into the
This is crazy.
record.
So where is it? The laptop.
Sir.
I want to know where Hunter Biden's laptop is. Where is it?
Sir, I don't know that answer.
That is astonishing to me. Has FBI Cyber assessed whether or not Hunter Biden's laptop could be a point of vulnerability, allowing America's enemies to hurt our country? I'm holding the receipt from Max Computer Repair, where in December 2019, they turned over this laptop to the FBI. And what now you're telling me right here is that as the assistant director of FBI Cyber, you don't know where this is after it was turned over to you 3 years ago.
Yes, sir, that's an accurate statement.
I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record of this committee the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop, which I'm in possession of.
Which I'm in possession of. That's so crazy.
Matt Gaetz has also called out FBI Director Christopher Wray to his face.
In your home state of Florida, the number of people applying to come work for us and devote their lives working for us is up over 100%.
We're deeply proud of them, and they deserve better than you.
And, of course, cherry on top, Matt Gaetz called out Merrick Garland to his face. This is the job that Matt Gaetz would be vying for. Here we go.
Here's the thing. You come in here and you lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, Just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about.
Absolutely insane. Trump's this runaround is gonna be crazy with the amount of people, like just the tough people that he's picked for this office, because now he knows what he's doing for these 4 years. Crazy. All right, Dogecoin soars after Trump taps Elon Musk for the Department of Government Efficiency. Let's see what they got to say on Crypto World.
Okay, let's talk about the top stories. Robinhood is bringing back some crypto offerings that it previously delisted. The company announced today that it's re-adding Solana, Cardano's ADA token, and Ripple's XRP to its U.S. platform, which were taken off the exchange in June of 2023 as the SEC stepped up its crackdown of the industry. Now, Robinhood is also adding Pepe, which brings its total crypto offerings to 19 tokens. The move comes as companies anticipate more lenient crypto regulation under the Trump administration, including a shift in enforcement action at the SEC and the potential for legislation on Capitol Hill. Robinhood was trading flat as of noon Eastern. Next, Japanese crypto exchange Coincheck is set to list on the NASDAQ via SPAC. The SEC approved the Tokyo-based firm's application to merge with Thunder Bridge Capital Partners and list on the NASDAQ around December 10th. The company would trade under the ticker CNCK. Now, if the deal closes next month, it would set a path for U.S. investors to gain exposure to foreign crypto businesses. Last, the fall of Sam Bankman-Fried may be coming to a theater near you. Variety reports that Apple Studios and A24 are in early development of the film, which is an adaptation of Michael Lewis's book Going Infinite. The film would reportedly be written by Lena Dunham, who created and starred in the HBO series Girls. Lewis spent time with SBF before and after the collapse of FTX, which he documented and published a year later. The book faced some criticism at the time, with some people claiming Lewis was allured by SBF. All right, let's talk about crypto miners for our main story. Publicly traded miners are headed between 4.5% and 8% lower this morning. Now, those losses haven't put a dent in their week-to-date gains, though. Marathon, for instance, falling 7% today, but up 21% so far this week as Bitcoin surges. Now, I spoke with Fred Thiel, the chairman and CEO of Marathon Patent Group, about the company's outlook following Trump's election win and this dramatic Bitcoin rally. Okay, so let's start with the rally in miners, specifically this week. You're among the best performers since Trump won, and we've seen this divergence where pure play miners are outperforming ones that also deal in AI infrastructure. What do you make of the crypto miner rally right now and that differentiation between pure play versus AI?
Well, I think the key driver is Bitcoin price, right? Because our cost to mine Bitcoin is fixed, relatively speaking, in the short term. And then as the price of Bitcoin goes up, our profit margins grow dramatically. Marathon, or Mara as we're now called, is different from the other pure play because we have such a large hodl. I mean, we have 27,000 Bitcoin on our balance sheet. We're continuing to grow that. And there's an expectation that because of our hybrid model being somewhat of a pure play miner plus a small version of a MicroStrategy, having this hodl as the Bitcoin price goes up has a huge impact. I mean, you look at the convert transaction we did in August when we bought a large amount of Bitcoin, that has appreciated by a huge amount in, 90 days. And so I think that's why we are outperforming right now. It's this hybrid strategy. We hold a lot of Bitcoin, but we also mine a lot of Bitcoin. We've also announced recent expansion relative to the AI players. You know, it's the difference between intention and materiality, right? You know, they intend to become, they intend to do. When you look from an actual amount of AI hosted capacity that has come online, you know, really Core Scientific's the only one with any material amount of hosting capacity that's operational. Everybody else is yet to be built, yet to be contracted, yet to execute. And you look at TeraWolf, for example, up hugely, yet what do they really have? So I think the market is looking at Bitcoin price and saying, okay, we're not worried about Bitcoin miners going out of business because Bitcoin is crashing. We're worried now about Bitcoin miners making a lot of money all of a sudden, and so they're going to grow, and maybe that takes the attention off of the AI piece, but we'll see.
Now, from a policy perspective, the Trump administration looks better for crypto than Biden's. How are you feeling about policy and what this next administration will mean for Marathon?
I'm very bullish for what this next administration means for us and for the rest of the miners. We were one of the co-founders of the Bitcoin Voter Project, which was a project funded by 3 top miners, specifically focused on identifying and targeting voters who had interest or an opinion regarding Bitcoin and mobilizing them to come out and vote. And it was hugely impactful in the Sherrod Brown-Bernie Moreno race, which was a very important Senate seat that we helped flip. You know, the crypto industry had a sweep essentially in their candidates, which was very successful. As I look at policy, President-elect Trump was very adamant at the Nashville conference earlier this year about supporting Bitcoin. You know, we're already seeing some of that in his appointees, all very pro-crypto, all very pro-Bitcoin. So I expect we will see movement in the Senate on Senator Lummis's bill around the strategic reserve, which at the end of the day, 2 million Bitcoin held by the US government will have a substantial impact on the price of Bitcoin. So that's driving this price bump also. We're seeing a lot of positivity around banks being able to potentially custody and collateralize Bitcoin, which all of a sudden means you're opening up Bitcoin as an asset class to the $200 trillion of investors that exist out there. And just a small, tiny fractional allocation of 1% to Bitcoin because of the fact that it's finite will drive a huge impact on the price.
Now, you showed up at a lot of these meetings with Trump, including a closed-door session, on the sidelines of Nashville. Members of your team were there in Mar-a-Lago. Are you still involved in this incoming administration? Are you talking to the transition team, advocating for your industry in this period since they won?
Yeah, so we're very actively talking to a number of the people involved in selecting. The industry was asked to submit a list of potential candidates for various positions on the list of open positions that will be appointed, which we did as an industry. And we continue to consult closely with the members of the transition team on things we think are important to us as an industry. And again, I think they're very receptive. They're very open to it. President-elect Trump has made some commitments regarding what he intends to do kind of in his early days of his administration regarding Bitcoin. And we look forward to seeing all that come to fruition.
With respect to the advice that you've been giving President Trump on who he might want to appoint, who was your SEC pick? Who did the Bitcoin mining industry land on?
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Real quick, does anyone know when the last time the U.S. Silk Road BTC was sold? I do not, Dan R. I can look it up, though.
Disclose the specific picks because obviously the transition team is kind of sorting through all of that now and making decisions. As you can see, there is a priority order kind of positions they're trying to fill, which are the primary cabinet seats. I think as we get down to SEC, CFTC, et cetera, there will be a number of options there. But from an SEC perspective, there are a number of commissioners who have been very pro-crypto. Both Gao and Hester Peirce have been, and there are outside candidates who are also interesting.
Real quick, so it says last March, the U.S. government sold off 10,000 Bitcoin related to Silk Road, selling just over 9,861 Bitcoin worth $216 million, according to a court filing. As in this case, this event was processed by 3 on-chain transactions, which were sent a few weeks prior to the sales disclosure in a court filing.
I think every company has a slightly different perspective on who they like. Being maybe one of the sort of more elder statesmen in the industry, I like some continuity, meaning I prefer somebody who really understands the job and knows what it entails and knows what it takes to do it, such as a former commissioner, such as somebody who's been in that position before, a Jay Clayton, Giancarlo, or a Hester Peirce or Gao, somebody who knows the job, as opposed to taking a crypto industry person and tossing them in there.
Last question for you. What's your outlook for 2025 with respect to company expansion plans, where you see the crypto market broadly and Bitcoin in particular moving as well?
So we're very optimistic, obviously, about Bitcoin now because the U.S. being one of the largest economies in the world and having an ever-growing amount of Bitcoin as an investment asset activities going on and being one of the biggest equity markets. We're very bullish on banks receiving approval to custody and collateralize Bitcoin. We'll see a ton of different derivative products which will be made available to U.S. investors, which today are not available to U.S. investors, such as the ability to build derivative contracts with payment in kind as opposed to payment in cash. So non-cash settled contracts where you're actually buying and settling them in Bitcoin. And I think that is a very unique type of product which will hugely open up this market to a variety of investors. I think the Bitcoin miners will obviously benefit from this continued price appreciation. So pedal to the metal, everybody's going to hit the accelerator button and continue to expand as fast as they can. And we also believe it's very important to look at the energy generation side of Bitcoin miners. And we've recently started expanding into owning our own energy generation around flare gas. And I think you'll see us do a lot of things around the renewable energy space where we drive our energy costs down to net near zero as possible through a combination of owning energy assets and providing services to energy consumers. So very excited about that for 2025.
Interesting. Yeah, that's going to be a like they run their margins so like thin, right? Like the electric rates, they get them so far down. It's crazy. All right, let's see. Are you too late to buy Dogecoin? This is the one I'm excited to watch. Let's see. 22 hours ago for Lark Davis. I haven't seen it yet. Let's do it.
Is it too late to buy Dogecoin? No, it's not. It's had a great run recently, but it probably has a lot of...
I personally think it's going to go to $1, but you guys do what you want.
...fuel left in the tank. I'm going to discuss price targets with you, catalysts with you, and kind of where we are and what's been going on recently with the price for Dogecoin.
I wonder what he says the target is.
There's probably also better opportunities out there than Dogecoin right now. We're talking about those as well. So let's get straight into this. Look, Dogecoin's been absolutely on a tear recently, but I'll do a history lesson with you because you have to understand Dogecoin is a crazy asset. Dogecoin will literally do nothing for years on end, and then all of a sudden it just goes absolutely freaking bonkers. So this is back in
And yet it holds like top 10 coin by market cap. It's crazy.
2020, of course, we saw nothing happening for very, very long time for Doge, and all of a sudden, it starts moving. And it has this initial breakout where it goes up 382% or whatever, and then it has a 55% correction. So you have to understand it is still a meme coin after all, because it's a big cap meme coin. Doesn't mean it's not going to be volatile, okay? This thing will have a crazy, crazy run, and there'll be massive volatility in that run, so do not over leverage, okay? From that moment, though, Dogecoin went on to have another major markup period, putting in almost 3,000% gains from the initial move, and then a final top came in with a 25,000% gain. Because that's what Dogecoin does sometimes. Now, that, of course, is a history lesson for you. I don't think it's going to have anywhere near those kind of moves this time, simply because the market cap of Dogecoin is way too gosh darn big to have a 25,000% gain, okay? It's simply not happening. Get the idea out of your head. Not saying it's not bullish, not saying the setup is not looking really good for Dogecoin right now, just that that's a bit silly, okay? So look, here's the previous all-time highs for Dogecoin right here around 72 cents. You can see this here, okay? So have a look here at Dogecoin. Beautiful, beautiful chart here, by the way. However, check this out. The price here, as you can see, this is from right back here in April 2021. We saw resistance right here at this 45-cent line 1, 2, 3 different times, okay? That becomes relevant because let's look at our current price and where we have tapped out. We came all the way up to 45 cents for Dogecoin. Now, we've had an epic breakout way beyond the yearly highs, okay? So we've been tracking the Dogecoin move here in the newsletter for a while. We tracked this breakout here around 10 cents, got price targets at 17 and 22 cents. Very profitable trade. What's interesting, of course, is the massive breakout that came once we cracked over the yearly highs around 22 cents. It moved real fast, real hard, basically doubling in a week's time from 22 to 45 cents, coming up to a major area of price resistance, okay? This is the weekly charts. We have entered, after a very long period of not being there, into the overbought territory on the RSI. Now, the interesting thing about Dogecoin that you should realize that when we do get into the overbought territory, it can stay there for quite a long time. Look here, December 14th, week of December 14th, 2020, we entered into overbought territory, and we actually stayed overbought for a very long time, straight up overbought into late February, and overbought for a final rally after a brief dip under the overbought conditions until mid-May, with the final market peak came in. Okay, so just because it's overbought now doesn't mean it can't be overbought for a long time. This is similar with greed indicators and stuff like that. They can remain in extreme greed for a very, very long time during a bull market, just in the same way the RSI can remain very overbought for a long time in a bull market. It's
just more risky.
Not sure how long that's going to be. Not saying it's going to be 6 months this time. However, it could be a lot longer than most people think is going to happen. So do keep that in mind.
I mean, you got to think, right? He's not in the office until January 20th, so the Department of Government Efficiency is not going to actually come to fruition until that point. So we're probably going to see another complete jump towards that area.
Also, very important to point out here
towards that
we have a MACD weekly uptrend going on here for Dogecoin. So if you go back again to the previous cycle, this becomes very indicative. This is the post-Bitcoin halving regime, right? Things that happen before the Bitcoin halving are a bit less indicative of big cycle moves. But you can see here, end of November, the MACD bull cross came in, and that actually raged all the way, of course, until we saw late February for the first peak that coincided with the RSI peaks, and then, of course, a dip, and then down to a final high later in the year, around April, May. So we got a lot higher to go. We got a lot higher to go on that MACD, a lot higher we can go on that RSI, a lot longer we can go on that RSI, okay? And seeing a pullback at this point back down to 22 cents, by the way, would not be an insane, crazy, or out-of-bounds thing to happen. So if that happens, that's probably one of the last good entries for Dogecoin this cycle. Of course, assuming that everything doesn't just totally fall to pieces and, the Great Depression comes tomorrow, then that's probably a great entry point for Dogecoin for late buyers looking to get a position. Alternatively, if that does not happen,
that's when I'll be buying.
I want to watch for the breakout beyond 45 cents, okay? Right now,
I sold the whole way up. I sold it like 25 cents. I sold it, or maybe it was like 24, and then I sold some at 28 and then 30. 5, I believe. Kind of in an indecision zone here for Dogecoin. Retest 22 cents, great. Breakout beyond 45 cents, also great. That, of course, would then target a first price take profit price target of 72 cents, and then into price discovery, which we'll talk about some of those targets here momentarily. Real quick, though, if you're a crypto... Nope.
Let's talk about price targets. And I want to start the price target conversation with this. And this is actually the chart from the peak in 2018, January 2018, down, of course, to the bottom here in March 2020. Now, these gave some reasonable price targets for Dogecoin at 2 cents, for, let's say, 5 cents and 6 cents. The problem is Dogecoin got so bullish that it actually blew through all of its targets. You see, this would have actually been a reasonable top area when Dogecoin got up to 7, 7, 8 cents here. That, in theory, should have been a topping moment based on the Fibonacci's. However, then Elon starts tweeting about it, and then all bets are off the table, essentially, and things just get real crazy real quick, and Dogecoin prints much, much higher, ending the cycle up at mid 70 cent range, okay? However, I'm not so sure we're going to get a repeat of that Goldilocks scenario this cycle just because Dogecoin has become too damn big. It's worth $50 billion or something today, okay? That's crazy, man. That's crazy, okay? We're not
think about it. If Dogecoin, if the price doubles, that means the market cap has to double. So that is a lot.
going to see this $50 billion asset.
And also, Dogecoin is, if I'm not mistaken, it's not capped. So the coins can continue to come out.
In those kind of gains again. At least I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. You can let me know if you think that I'm wrong, of course, down below in the comment section. I know you guys love to do that, and I always love to see those comments tell me how wrong I am. So please feel free. Feel free to share those kind of comments. So anyway, if we had a quote-unquote logical bull run for Dogecoin, what would some quote-unquote sensible targets be? Well, of course, once we break beyond 72 cents, then we start into price discovery. The first major target, 1.618 Fibonacci line at $1.20. The second one, the 2.618 Fibonacci line at $1.90, and a potential topping area for Dogecoin for the cycle around 270 or even around $273. Okay, that would be pico top prices in my mind. That is, we shall see how that plays out. Maybe Dogecoin's just too bullish. It's going to go to $10 or something like that. But those are the kind of price targets that aren't really backed up by any sort of thesis per se, just opinion, right? We want to try, of course, to actually have something to base our predictions.
He's smoking that hopium today.
On around here, right? Now, Dogecoin, by the way, currently, I think this is interesting to think about. Dogecoin currently is a $53 billion market cap, okay? That means right now, today, it accounts for around 2% of the total market cap of all cryptocurrency coins combined. Now, at the peak back in 2021, it accounted for around 3% of the total market cap of cryptocurrencies, okay? So if we see those price targets, right, of around, let's say, $2.50 to $3, then what are you looking at here? You're looking at a 7x, 6x or something like that from here, which is pretty good and probably pretty in line with what you're going to see with some of the other big cap coins. Solana,
pretty good.
Looking
That's
at
great.
5x from here or something like that. Dogecoin, 5 to 7x. It's not out of the realm of possibility, right? And that would, if you assume that, as I hope and assume and have charted out for you guys, that we could see as high as a $10 trillion market cap for all cryptocurrencies this market cycle, with altcoins alone accounting for around $3 trillion, meaning that in a scenario where Dogecoin does a 6x from the current price higher, it's going to account for 10% of all altcoins, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So just the altcoin market cap. Doable, right? It'd still be, in that situation, it would still be around 3% of the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies. So again, we're trying to base our thoughts and predictions in some kind of reality here. I know it's fun to not think unrealistically, Dogecoin's going to go to $10,000 a coin. Yeah, probably not. Ever in the history of civilization will that happen. Unless the US dollar completely collapses and becomes like funny Venezuela money, okay? But we do have, of course, great catalysts coming this cycle. We have, of course, the Trump-Vance ticket. These guys, along with Elon Musk, are going to launch the Department of Government Efficiency. The Doge Department. Elon Musk wants you to get rich, and he loves your bags, apparently, because they're naming the Department of Government Efficiency the Doge Department. Literally, Trump and Vance and Elon are going to nonstop be tweeting about Doge, which is probably how you get to $2.80 or $3 price targets, which are absurdly big for a freaking meme coin worth $300 billion. That's stupid beyond belief. You have no idea how dumb that is.
Could you imagine the miners, like how much the miners are going to be making? All these L7s, L9s, just the little box miners, like that'd be crazy.
But that's what makes it happen. Okay? That's what makes it happen. Of course, you also have the benefit that Coinbase and Robinhood, they have Dogecoin listed. Okay? These are where normies are going to flock in. Crypto.com, they've got Dogecoin. And some of these have other coins as well, but two of the big...
easy to acquire for everyday people.
Places where normie investors are likely to end up, currently don't offer very many meme coins. Shout out to Shiba Inu and shout out to Bonk as well. Bonk in particular, very low market cap coin by comparison. And that's one thing I want to mention to you is that, look, if you're looking at Dogecoin today thinking, man, should I go all in on Dogecoin? Obviously not financial advice. You do whatever you want to do with your money, right? Crypto's risky. Past performance does not indicate future performance. You can lose all your money, and I'm not telling you what to do with your money, okay? We're just talking about predictions. We're sharing opinions. That's what we do here, okay? Look, Dogecoin, as I've laid out here, has a 6, 7x upside, which is not bad. I mean, that's crazy money, right? You got to think that if, of course, everything plays out perfectly for our market cycle, which it may not. But if everything does play out perfectly, that's what I'm targeting as realistic upside for Dogecoin. However, it's not the best risk reward, in my opinion, because look at stuff like Dog with Hat, $3 billion market cap, and it is the meme coin, the biggest market cap meme coin of the Solana network, which is the hype chain of this cycle. Now, does Dog with Hat get up to $30 billion market cap? Was that tax for $30 per coin? Maybe.
No, I don't think so.
And in that situation, you're getting bigger gains than you would by going on Dogecoin. Not dramatically so. Perhaps it does dramatically outperform. Perhaps it underperforms. The point is that other dog coins or just other meme coins more broadly, if you're into playing meme coin game, might offer a better risk reward return That's the key.
I don't think so. I disagree with him on that. I mean, yes, you could make a shit ton of money, yes, but the risk is like it's really gonna outweigh the you know, you're probably going to lose your shirt. Let's put it that way. I don't think you're going to make a shit ton of money unless you know what you're actually doing. Cryptocurrency will make millionaires in 2025. Last but not least, watch this over here. Altcoin Daily, guys. That like button. Appreciate you for hanging out.
I think Bitcoin heads to 500,000.
The Bitcoin price continues to rally as investors front-run Trump's promise of the U.S. Bitcoin strategic stockpile.
Again, it's a whole different paradigm because it forces every other country in. Countries are already buying it. I've got a dear
Dude, look at his glasses. Mr. Potato Head wants him back.
Friend, the guy that actually turned me on to Bitcoin in 2013, who's in the Mideast right now, and he said he's never seen anything like it. He's convincing more people to buy Bitcoin in the 3 days he's been there than any time in his whole career. And they're huge pools of capital. And so we're seeing something globally. When Trump advocated in Nashville that he was going to be a crypto president, a Bitcoin president, and now he's the president, let me tell you, other leaders heard that.
Now the bigger...
Yeah, Mark Cuban wears them too. I don't get it. Like, it's like all the rich guys are like wearing these thick-ass black circle glasses. I don't get it.
Opportunity, maybe
it's
with
like
altcoins. Watch today's whole video. But again, it seems like every morning we're hitting a new all-time high. Bitcoin surges to new record over $93,000 per coin, as strong U.S. demand crushes resistance level. And that continues to be confirmed that literally institutional and Wall Street investors are buying hundreds of millions, if not billions, of dollars per day of Bitcoin. And keep in mind, pullbacks are part of any bull market. We are not going to see green candles forever. But with every 2 steps back, we seemingly go 3 steps forward. And 500K eventually is baked in.
Mike, how soon do you get to 500,000? That's kind of a stunning level to think about. But, you know, we're probably going to hit $100,000 this year if we keep on going at this rate.
Yeah, so listen, the total market cap of gold, I think, is like 16 trillion, right? And so that's 800,000 Bitcoin. So when does Bitcoin become gold? Like, there's a new generation that cares more about Bitcoin than they care about gold. I'm turning 60 next week, and so I still own a bunch of gold. I'm an old guy. But let me tell you, no 40-year-olds own gold. No 30-year-olds own gold. And so as we see this generational shift, like, Bitcoin should match gold within 5 or 10 years. And that gets you to 800,000. That's with current gold prices. I think gold's going higher.
So understand.
Well, that's not true. I own gold.
That this Bitcoin rally is just getting started, yet pullbacks can happen.
Always
Investing in
diversify.
cryptocurrency comes with risk. Do not invest more than you're willing to lose immediately. Investors will be getting rich in this market, and in a way, history is repeating. So let's talk about altcoins. Let me share with you the specific coins making moves. But the Bitcoin rally thus far is par for the course with Bitcoin's prior cycles. I know it feels like this time is different, but BTC is still just tracking its prior cycles. Of course, there will be deviations, but this is the big picture view. So this is showing the ROI, return on investment, from all Bitcoin market cycle bottoms. So Bitcoin throughout history has gone through 4-year cycles, this driven fundamentally by Bitcoin's halving, the supply shock. And looking at where we are today, market cycle 5 in the purple, while yes, earlier in the year, during the Bitcoin halving, we popped off a little early, ROI today is exactly where we should be, with the most explosive part of the Bitcoin ROI yet to come, if history repeats. And which altcoins are making news, while BlackRock expands its tokenized fund BUIDL beyond Ethereum to 5 new blockchains. The investing giant is bringing its RWA real-world asset fund to Aptos, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Optimism's OP Mainnet, and Polygon. So obviously this will lead to more activity, more use of these blockchains. But just a reminder of what BlackRock's tokenized fund BUIDL is. It's like any other money market fund in traditional finance, only this one's tokenized, and how this affects Ondo, because as we know, Ondo is being utilized and in collaboration with them. Well, as stated by Ondo, we are delighted to support BlackRock and Securitize with their multi-chain expansion. Ondo's OUSG stablecoin is backed by and the largest holder of BlackRock's BUIDL, and we intend to diversify our BUIDL reserves across a variety of supported blockchains to facilitate liquidity across more. So pay attention to the cryptos that the elites are working with. But in lower cap altcoin news, the Spotify killer, Tune FM, wants to take on Spotify by using crypto to pay artists up to 100 times more per stream. So I loved this highlight from TechCrunch, which has a massive audience.
It's fucking chilling this shit.
And if you want to discover new music...
Oh, goddamn.
And why is Dogecoin rallying? Well, President-elect Trump appoints Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to lead the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency.
But how tied is this to Elon Musk? I mean, Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE.
Yeah. This rally we've seen, I think he's almost, completely tied to Elon Musk. I mean,
100%. This has nothing to do with Dogecoin offhand, other than Elon named this agency Doge.
You start with the notion of sort of market beta. And the same is true in the stock market. When the S&P moves a certain percent, there are certain stocks that move a lot more than that. So Doge is starting from that layer, as are a lot of smaller meme coins. If Bitcoin's up, they're gonna be up a lot more. If it's down, they're gonna be down a lot more. But you cannot, sort of ignore the Musk connection here. Elon Musk has been a huge champion of Dogecoin, mainly, I think, just for the memes. The guy likes funny memes on the internet. Dogecoin is sort of the meme coin of choice on X and Twitter before that. So it's hard to know exactly if that's as far as Musk's appreciation for it goes. But regardless, crypto's all about speculation. He likes it. He's got the ear of the president. It's up almost 200% since the election.
Now, for those of you,
Elon is absolutely obsessed with memes. You guys see the time he tweeted? He said, if you want to lose a boner real quick, and then he put a picture of a pregnant man emoji next to Bill Gates. He tweeted it.
You using Margex and are long Dogecoin, or
so
if you
funny.
think Dogecoin topped in the short term and you're shorting Dogecoin, I will put a link down below. Be sure to use code altcoin. There's up to $10,000.
You do anything but shill shit.
Problems. Also, major piece of news for Hello Labs and show Killer Whales, which we're producers and judges on. Meet the Whales.
Hey, I'm Aaron Arnold.
Austin Arnold.
Founders of Altcoin Daily.
The largest crypto YouTube channel in the US, Altcoin Daily, made it to over 1 million subscribers by posting a video every single day for the last 7 years. They don't miss.
The Netflix of crypto gaming. That's spoke to be. So for me, it's a swim.
I'm rooting for you, but here's the thing. I think you're
This show is so weird. I don't know.
a little bit unfocused. I hope someday you come back here and say, I told you, Aaron, I could make it, and this is it. But for me, it's a sink.
I
that
really
ceiling,
hope you
though.
support
The
me.
ceiling's
Watch
dope.
this season 2 dropping early 2025. This is going to be
Season 2. Did anybody even watch season 1?
such a great show. I will keep you updated. Also, quick piece of news for meme coin Foxy and just the Ethereum ecosystem. Linea, which is an ETH L2, like an Arbitrum, like a Optimism, only Linea did not have a token, is getting a token. Linea keeps winning, decentralization on its way, TGE coming in Q1 2025. And why this matters to you is because Linea is backed by Consensus, the main developer of MetaMask. So just like
MetaMask
Coinbase
is
has been
ass.
funneling all their native users into their L2
Please don't
base,
use MetaMask.
if MetaMask does this right, I can see MetaMask funneling all their users as the #1 crypto wallet, hot wallet.
Yeah, and they can funnel all of your freaking funds out of your wallet too. I don't trust MetaMask at all. It's insane. All right, moving on to the recap segment of things. Sorry guys, I got to get back to daddy duty, but Bitcoin pretty much still where it was. Oh, by the way, good morning, Mr. Geek of All Trades. Thanks for joining us. Better late than never. Bitcoin, $91,094. We got Ethereum at $31.89. XRP is at 72 cents. Even though I'm out of XRP 100%. I don't support them anymore. ADA, 56 cents. I'm going to buy back in almost 57 cents, actually. I'm going to try to buy back in, and hopefully it dips a little bit more. That's what I'm waiting for. Now we got $80, almost $81 on Litecoin. Hell yeah. Perfect. Welcome to the party, little buddy. We got ETC looking at $22.34. Caspa, 12.6. Looking pretty decent. Let's see, Dogecoin at 39 cents. It's probably gonna rise up a bit today. We're gonna have to see what happens. Pepe up about 60% on the day. It's just crazy right now. Let's see, Sui is up 5%, $3.33. Whiff is doing crazy too, 33%, up $4.05. We have or up to $4.05. BitTensor over here, 514 bucks. Render $7. I think it's looking really good. Let's jump back to crypto bubbles and see. Look at this. Peanuts only up 6.6%. But if we go to the week, 1,402% on the week. This peanut token. This is absolutely insane. This is absolutely insane, to say the least. But on the day, Pepe is taking the cake. 60%, 60.5% up. Pretty crazy. Meme coins are going nuts. Guys, Fear and Greed Index flashbang looking like an 88. You missed the beginning of the stream. This is this needle starting to ping. I think we're gonna, if I had to guess, we usually see a pullback around Thanksgiving week. That's what I'm probably banking on. We're gonna have to see, but just to buy an opportunity. That's what I would do. That's my opinion. So I'm gonna do. And we'll probably see a Christmas rally after or towards the end of December. It's usually what we see. But with Elon Musk and this whole Doge thing and Trump getting into office, I think we're gonna see another push up at the end of January. That, again, it's just my opinion. You guys do what you want. Don't take financial advice from people on YouTube. That'd be your first mistake. Anyways, guys, listen, have a great, happy, and safe Thursday. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning around 7 a.m., 7:15-ish Eastern Standard Time. And until then, Peace out and have a good day. I gotta get back to daddy duty. Later.
If she don't hawk to her, we don't talk to her.
Perfect.
Eat shit, Gary.